Hey, Ben.
Hey. New glasses?
They're old, but I'm wearing them. I just forgot to put my contacts in this morning, and here I am. So, agenda. Nothing on the agenda. Okay. We are recording, by the way, Ben. Did you have anything you wanted to discuss today?
No, I just joined out of curiosity. What has been getting discussed in the past ones?
You can look at the
Like
agenda.
Mesa's Con and stuff.
Yeah, last meeting we discussed Mesa's Con. Mostly just that. Yeah, I don't know. This meeting hasn't had that much activity recently.
Guess what I was going to mention is the blog post for performance. I was planning to send that out tomorrow morning. It's out in review right now. I was looking to tweet it out tomorrow morning.
Okay, great. Do you need any help with review of that, or are you good?
Yeah, I can send it to you as well if you want to take a look.
Sure. Yeah, I'll give it a read.
I mean, I've read it over a bunch of times, but I'd still like to know if there's any, like I read it over a time recently and there was like a weird English mistake I made in there. So it'd be good to get someone to also just proofread it.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Yeah, thank you for continuing those blog posts. I didn't manage to get out the September monthly email in September, but I did get it out on Friday. I'm going to put an action item down for me to send that to the Linux Weekly News folks so they can include it. Okay. One thing that occurred to me, I know that I still have doc reviews out from the last docathon we did, which I really need to get merged.
So I guess that's a topic for this group documentation.
Yeah.
I still feel like we need, the biggest thing there is we need some structure improvement to the website documentation. Like some left-hand navigation and clickable indexes on the pages and some niceties that make it a little more consumable. I don't know.
I think we do. I don't know precisely what do you mean by clickable indexes. We do have tags on the headings.
You can link to headers, headings, but you can't. Like I've noticed in some of the other documentation I've been to, you go to the page and if it's long, there's like table of contents at the top that you can click to the section you're interested in.
Yeah.
Whereas like some of our lengthier ones, you're kind of like just lots of scrolling to figure out how this document's laid out. think someone had a patch to do the left-hand navigation stuff. And there was also someone trying to do the versions documentation stuff. But both of those never made it.
Yeah, do you know if there's any work done that we should pick back up, or should we just
The
start?
versions stuff, there was a guy, I think his name is Tim Anderson or something.
Mhm.
He was trying to do it, and we revived it like once or twice. But the last time Vinod and I looked at it and tried to think about how to do it in a way that's gonna work, I think we wrote it down in the review, so anyone could read it. But I don't think he had time to follow up again. So it's probably going to be on us. I don't think we can rely on someone to have the time to work on it.
Yeah.
Like he's busy with other stuff, right? So
Yeah.
kind of these huge gaps of time between when he can page it back in.
Yeah. Do you think there's a chance we could push on that at Mesos Con and maybe get it done during the Docathon? I feel like that's doable with the
Is
date.
it a Docathon or is it a hackathon?
Oh, hackathon. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I think someone could certainly try to tackle that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could seed. We could maybe try to seed what people could work on by things that we know are really useful and people have asked for.
Mm-hmm.
Version documentation was at the last hackathon as well, I think. I think it got closer, but yeah, it's the approach that was taken didn't seem like the right one, so we left the feedback around how we think we should do it. So someone's just gotta kind of execute on that.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on how to accomplish that? It's not something I've thought about or looked into at all.
I think the way that the Tim did it was every time you generate the documentation, it like checks out every single tag in turn, and we'll build it, and we'll publish it and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Vinod and I were hoping for more of a release branch based approach, where like the documentation generation runs on master and CI as well as on release branches, and then it looks at where it is, and it sees it's on 17x, and it sees that the version is 171, but maybe it knows there's no tag, so then it goes and publishes that as like 171 tentative or something like that. And when you could do a one-off to build all the old documentation for previous releases, but that would make it so that when we run CI to update the docs, we don't have to build like 50 tags, which would take forever.
Yeah, there's no reason for us to do the documentation for tag more than once, right?
Yeah, so that's the session we made. Yeah.
And then is there a particular, like, are there, is there a ready-made framework that one uses to set this up, or we just roll it ourselves into the website?
I mean, we've got our own stuff, which isn't really great. Like we've got a bunch of our own we don't really have a bunch of documentation tools that we're using, which is unfortunate, I guess. But the version stuff was basically just some scripts to like tweak what we have. It wasn't changing anything dramatic. Like we already have a link structure that has latest in it.
Mm-hmm.
All our documentation is just latest.
Right.
And he was just publishing the version stuff at /170 instead of latest. So he just basically like did the same thing, but published this one over in 170 instead of /latest.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that sophisticated.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty quick way to get what we want, though.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think the left-hand like menu navigation thing is a little more involved, just because you have to feed in structure to that thing. It's not just going to know it automatically. Like most of them are based on folders, and we don't really have like a coherent folder structure in there, so we'd have to do that, and then write some additional things which tell it like what should the sections be and all that. I looked at like how the Kubernetes website is generated. It looks like quite the Rube Goldberg machine, but I did figure out that there were these files that kind of dictated what the left-hand menu structure would look like. Yeah. We kind of have to make do with what we have, which is like we don't have web engineers really, and kind of need to do what's minimal and we can handle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's shoot for making the version docs thing sounds like totally doable to me for the hackathon. I'll talk to some people between now and the hackathon and see if I can't get a committer who's interested in taking the lead on that for the hackathon.
Yeah, I mean, you probably want 2 people. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully there's someone who's passionate about that. It's kind of a little bit sad that we still don't have version documentation in our website.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Yeah, let's make it happen. I think we can. My plan for the hackathon was to do a test fix-a-thon for anybody who's interested. Because that seems to me useful and pretty easy to do and rewarding. But depending on the interest, I could do version docs instead. But I'll see if I can get someone else who's interested in leading that. I bet we can make it happen.
Yeah, with test fixing, I feel like that'd be great as well. I think there's still a little bit of a lacking communication and clarity about the current situation we're in and how one could help with it. Like, I don't actually know how bad is it right now. Like, how could I go and get the list and start working on some, or I just don't know. And I think that's true of a lot of people. So
yeah,
if the hackathon was to come in with some structure for that, like, okay, here's the data of like which ones are we're hitting most often and would be most valuable to fix, and people could start off that list, like most frequently hit ones first or whatever. That would be, I think, more useful than kind of just where we are now, which is I don't even know where to help, or if it's bad still, or did we disable a bunch of tests that we should re-enable? Where are we?
Yeah, so I think at Mesosphere we can probably do a better job to help people stay up to date on that, because we have this like CI on-call rotation, which we haven't been doing a good job of staying on top of. Benno was on that rotation recently and did a really good job of sending out summaries of flaky tests. But they were all kept internal, so that should be open. And I bet we can do a better, because we have more extensive CI infrastructure at Mesosphere than the open source project has. So we're in a good position to kind of broadcast to the community what the current set of flaky tests is. So I bet we can do something to help that. But in any case, I
didn't even see Benno's summaries.
Yeah, right. And I think if they had been in one of the public, like one of the open channels, you monitor those pretty closely, you probably would have seen them.
Oh, it was a channel. Okay. That's probably why I didn't see it.
No, sorry. I mean, like if he had done it in any one of the open source communication channels, not Slack necessarily, but
yeah,
just like the officially sanctioned open source communication channels.
Yeah, people are a little hesitant to email dev, for example, for some reason, but I don't know. It'd be great to see stuff like that emailed to dev.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I can bring that up internally. And I think in any case, doing a little test fix session at the hackathon can give me a little forcing function to organize that information and present it in any case at the hackathon.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do we have the data? I guess.
I don't know that we have data, but we do actually have I think Jira currently does a decent job of representing the current set of flaky tests.
Okay, we just don't know which ones are most flaky or most problematic, or which ones I'm assuming we could also figure out which ones we disabled but want to re-enable once we fix. Because I know that they were going around, I think Alex was going around disabling a bunch to try to get it green.
Right.
So we want to not just keep doing that. We want to re-enable those tests, because otherwise we might start to miss more and more regressions, right?
Yep.
Well, depending on the test, I'd almost rather have it flaky than disabled. But yeah, it takes everyone helping out and fixing tests.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't think I have anything else to discuss. I think it's just us today.
All right.
Well, always a pleasure talking to you, Ben.
See ya. I think we're meeting again soon. So.
All right. Later, man.
See ya.